how a single organization extracts billions of dollars from the unconditional love of people like you, the most elegant financial machine ever built. Let me show you how it works. On June 14, 2018, the FIFA World Cup kicked off in Moscow. 32 nations, 64 matches, 1 billion people watching the final. And when it was all over, when the trophy was lifted, the confetti settled, the players flew home, a very specific group of people sat down in a very specific set of offices in Zurich, Switzerland, and counted the money. The 2018 World Cup generated $6.4 billion in revenue for FIFA. The organization kept the vast majority of it while paying zero corporate tax in Switzerland, and paying the host country Russia approximately $700 million in direct costs, while Russia spent an estimated $14 billion building the infrastructure to host it. Russia spent $14 billion. FIFA made $6. The World Cup is the most watched sporting event on Earth. It is also, if you look closely enough, one of the most sophisticated financial operations on the planet. And almost none of it goes where most people assume it goes. Let's follow the money. FIFA, the Fédération Internationale de Football Association, is legally classified as a non-profit organization. The organization that controls the most watched sporting event in history, that generates billions of dollars every 4 years, that holds broadcast contracts worth more than most countries' GDP, is, on paper, a nonprofit. In 2022, FIFA reported total revenue of $7.5 billion from the Qatar World Cup cycle. The same year, Spotify reported revenue of $11.7 billion. FIFA, a non-profit, generated revenue equivalent to roughly 64% of one of the world's largest music streaming platforms, while paying no shareholders and, depending on the jurisdiction, minimal corporate tax. FIFA has 211 member associations. That is more member nations than the United Nations, which has 193. There are nations in the world that are not in the UN, but are in FIFA. So what is this organization? It is a private governing body with more global reach than most governments, classified as a charity, generating billions, headquartered in Switzerland, one of the most favorable tax jurisdictions on Earth. Understanding what FIFA is, structurally, is the only way to understand how the World Cup economy actually works. Because the World Cup is not just a tournament. It is FIFA's product, and FIFA's product is one of the most valuable media assets ever created. The single largest revenue stream in the World Cup business is television. Not sponsorship, not ticket sales, not licensing, television. FIFA sells the right to broadcast the World Cup to television networks in every country. Each deal is negotiated separately. Each is worth a different amount depending on the size of the market, the passion of the fan base, and the competitive bidding among networks. Fox Sports and Telemundo paid approximately $1 billion combined to broadcast the 2018 and 2022 World Cups in the United States alone. In the United Kingdom, the BBC and ITV share rights, and because of the UK's public media laws, major tournaments must be broadcast free to air. So the BBC pays for World Cup rights primarily from the license fee British citizens pay annually. In markets with intense football culture, Brazil, Germany, Japan, the Arab world, rights fees are enormous. In others, FIFA practically gives them away to maximize viewership and, by extension, the value it can charge sponsors. The broadcast model is elegant in a specific, almost architectural way. FIFA creates a product, the tournament, once every 4 years. It does not own stadiums. It does not employ the players. It does not build the infrastructure. It licenses the right to watch. And here is the mechanism that makes this work indefinitely. Scarcity. The supply of World Cups is fixed by design. There will never be more than one per 4-year cycle. The demand, a global audience of billions, grows with the global population. Fixed supply, rising demand, negotiated price. This is not sport. This is commodity trading. The second revenue stream is sponsorship. And the way FIFA structures it is worth understanding because it is not what most people assume. FIFA has 3 categories of commercial partners. FIFA partners are the top tier. In 2022, there were 8 of them: Adidas, Coca-Cola, Wanda Group, Qatar Airways, Hyundai, Visa, Budweiser, Qatar Energy. These companies pay estimated fees of $30 to $50 million per year to FIFA. They receive global visibility across all FIFA events, not just the World Cup. Exclusive category rights. No competitor can advertise at any FIFA venue, anywhere, for anything. Visa is a FIFA partner, which means MasterCard cannot advertise at any FIFA event worldwide. During the 2022 World Cup, in a country where cash is still dominant and many migrant workers don't have bank accounts, Visa's logo was on every official ticketing system. Tier 2. FIFA World Cup sponsors. These companies pay lower fees and receive rights specifically for the World Cup, not other FIFA events. They include brands like McDonald's, Hisense, and others depending on the cycle. Tier 3. Regional supporters. These are country-specific deals, brands that pay for rights in specific markets. A Chinese brand visible only in China. A regional airline visible only in its home market. Here is the part that most sponsorship stories miss. The value is not the logo on the billboard. The value is the exclusivity. Companies are not paying to be seen. They are paying to ensure their competitors are not seen. That reframe, from promotion to exclusion, is what makes the FIFA sponsorship model genuinely different from most sports marketing. And it is why the fees are as high as they are. You are not just buying presence. You are buying absence of competition. Now we get to the most uncomfortable part of the World Cup economy: the host country. Every 4 years, a nation wins the right to host the World Cup. And the word wins is doing enormous work in that sentence. Let's go through the numbers honestly. South Africa spent approximately $3.6 billion on infrastructure for the 2010 World Cup. That included 10 stadiums, 5 of which were newly built. The Cape Town Stadium cost $600 million to build for the 2010 World Cup. It was used for 8 World Cup matches. After the tournament, it became a venue for concerts, conferences, and a facility management headache. Its annual operating loss has been estimated at around $3 to $6 million per year since 2010. Brazil 2014. Brazil's initial budget for the 2014 World Cup was approximately $1.1 billion. Final cost? $15 billion, a 13-fold overrun. The Maracana Stadium in Rio, one of the most iconic football venues in the world, required $500 million in renovations for the tournament. After 2014, it was used intermittently, fell into disrepair, and has faced serious maintenance crises, including reported vandalism, water damage, and unpaid electricity bills. Russia 2018. Russia built or renovated 12 stadiums across 11 cities. Total estimated spend, $14 billion. Qatar 2022. Qatar spent an estimated $220 billion on World Cup infrastructure. Not $22 billion, not $2.2 billion. $220 billion versus NASA's annual budget, $25 billion. New Zealand's entire GDP, $250 billion. Qatar's $220 billion World Cup spend is roughly 8 times the cost of the Apollo program, adjusted for inflation, which put humans on the moon. Now, how much of this does FIFA pay? FIFA provides the event. The host provides everything the event requires. The players are the product. This is worth examining. FIFA allocated $440 million in prize money for Qatar 2022. The champion France in 2018 received $38 million in prize money. The runner-up, Croatia, received $28 million. Here is where it gets interesting. FIFA pays the prize money to the national federation, not to the players. Each federation then decides, independently, with no FIFA mandate on the split, how much to pay the players. In 2014, Germany won the World Cup and received $35 million in prize money. Reports indicated German players received approximately $400,000 each, a meaningful share. Meanwhile, some smaller federations historically kept the majority for administrative costs, with players receiving far smaller percentages. And the club pay problem. The players competing in the World Cup are contracted to their club teams: Real Madrid, Manchester City, Barcelona, Bayern Munich. These clubs pay their wages year-round. During the World Cup, they release the players to their national teams for approximately 6 weeks. The clubs receive no compensation from FIFA for releasing their players. Clubs have no financial mechanism to prevent their $100 million players from being injured at a World Cup and missing half a season of club football. In 2022, FIFA introduced a club protection program, paying clubs a fee for releasing players. The total paid to all clubs globally, approximately $200 million. The math on that distribution suggests each club receives somewhere between a rounding error and a modest thank you note. Tickets for the World Cup are another layer of the revenue architecture. Category 1. Premium seats, premium prices. Category 2. Mid-tier. Category 3. Lower tier, but still not cheap. Category 4. Resident tickets. Lower prices specifically for residents of the host country. The cheapest ticket to the 2022 World Cup final was $801. The most expensive, through official channels, was $2,100. On the secondary market, tickets for the Argentina-France final were reported trading at over $10,000. Total ticket revenue for FIFA across a World Cup is estimated at $500 million to $750 million. Significant, but not the largest revenue stream. The scale of the broadcasting deal makes ticket revenue look, relatively speaking, like a side business. The World Cup does not need you there. It needs you watching. Qatar deserves its own chapter in this story. Because Qatar 2022 was not a normal World Cup. Host nation population, 2.9 million people. Previous FIFA World Cup host minimum population, 40 million. Number of domestic football fans who could fill the stadiums without tourists, insufficient. Summer temperature problem, resolved by air conditioning entire outdoor stadiums. Cost, $220 billion. Qatar built 8 stadiums for the World Cup. 6 of them were designed to be partially or fully dismantled after the tournament. 1. Stadium 974 was constructed entirely from repurposed shipping containers and recycled materials, specifically to be fully disassembled. Qatar spent $220 billion, more than any nation in history on any single sporting event. Who benefited? The domestic Qatari economy received some multiplier effects. But a significant portion of $220 billion left the country through international contracts, imported labor remittances, and global supply chains. We cannot tell the story of the World Cup economy without this chapter. On May 27, 2015, U.S. federal agents arrested 7 FIFA officials at the Boer au Lac Hotel in Zurich on charges related to bribery, fraud, and money laundering. The U.S. Department of Justice alleged that FIFA officials received over $150 million in bribes over more than 2 decades related to the awarding of broadcast rights, marketing rights, and hosting rights, including, allegedly, the votes for the 2018 and 2022 World Cups themselves. The Russia and Qatar bids were both investigated by FIFA's own ethics committee, led by U.S. Attorney Michael Garcia. Garcia submitted a 430-page report to FIFA. FIFA's adjudicatory chamber then published a 42-page summary. Garcia publicly disputed the summary, saying it contained numerous materially incomplete and erroneous representations. He resigned from his position shortly after. The full Garcia report was not made publicly available. FIFA eventually released it in 2017, 2 years after Garcia resigned, after a German magazine published what appeared to be a leaked copy. What the corruption story reveals about the World Cup economy is this. Every financial stream we have discussed in this video flows through FIFA's decision-making. Who hosts? Who broadcasts? Who sponsors? Who referees the officials? When the gate is controlled by corruptible people, and when the organization has classified itself as a non-profit, beyond the reach of most securities regulators, operating under Swiss law, with 211 member nations too afraid of exclusion to apply pressure, the gate becomes something else. The 2026 World Cup is the largest in history. Not by a little. 2022 Qatar, 32 teams, 64 matches, 8 venues, 1 country. 2026 USA, Canada, Mexico, 48 teams, 104 matches, 16 venues, 3 countries. FIFA projects the 2026 World Cup will generate approximately $11 billion in revenue. That is a 47% increase over 2022's $7.5 billion. The U.S. market is the primary driver of this increase. The U.S. is hosting this time. U.S. fans will watch at rates that dwarf non-qualification years. The Super Bowl of soccer in the country that invented the Super Bowl economy. The prize money pool is expanding too. FIFA announced a $1 billion prize pool for 2026, nearly triple the 2022 pool. But the prize money structure, paying federations, not players, with no mandated distribution to the players themselves, remains unchanged. And the host costs. The US, Canada, and Mexico are not building from scratch the way Qatar did. The infrastructure, stadiums, airports, hotels, already exists at a significant scale. The FIFA contribution remains structured the same way: operational costs covered, infrastructure provided by the host. The 2026 World Cup will be the most profitable sporting event in human history. And it will be organized by a non-profit. Let's say the quiet part clearly. The World Cup is the most watched event on Earth because football is genuinely, beautifully, powerfully universal. The emotion is real. The players' dedication is real. The fans' passion is real. None of what we have discussed today should make the sport itself less meaningful to you. But the financial architecture constructed around that passion is one of the most sophisticated extraction mechanisms ever built around a human emotion. Host countries spend billions to bid on an event they will not profit from. Clubs spend decades developing players they cannot protect at the tournament those players were developed for. Citizens in host nations pay for stadiums that will be used for 8 matches and then cost money to maintain for the next 30 years. And the organization at the center of all of it, the one that created the product, sold the product, franchised the product, holds a non-profit classification, pays its executives handsomely, and sits in Zurich watching the money arrive. FIFA's president Gianni Infantino, who oversees a non-profit, earns an estimated $4 million per year in compensation. So here is the question that I want to leave you with. The World Cup happens because billions of people care about football. The passion is the fuel. Without the passion, there is no broadcast deal, no sponsorship value, no host country bidding war, no $11 billion in 2026. The fans are not victims. They get the tournament they wanted. But they are also the raw material of an industry that has never had to ask their permission to be structured the way it is. The World Cup is the most beautiful sporting event in the world. It is also a $10 billion business built on borrowed stadiums, unpaid clubs, outspent host nations, and the unconditional love of people who never got to vote on how it would be run. The next time you watch a World Cup match, you'll know exactly who else is watching.